Hi again, I am Lucky and I am pursuing my integrated MBA in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence from IIT Mandi. So today I'll be reviewing GUESS India Report 2023. So GUESS is Global University Entrepreneurial Spirit Students Survey. So it's basically a survey that gives us data and idea of entrepreneurship spirit among students. So, the first part of this is the rising tide of entrepreneurship in India. India's entrepreneurship ecosystem is driven by progressive policy interventions and substantial government support that encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. So we have an overview of the Indian startup ecosystem. India has arrived among the top three startup destinations globally with over 1,40,000 startups registered with the Department of Promotion of Industry and International Trade. Government of India presents tremendous potential for innovation and entrepreneurship that is bound to shape its future. India's entrepreneurial landscape has experienced substantial growth recently. In past 5 years, India's startup ecosystem has been growing at a compounded annual growth rate of around 12 to 15%. Indian cities including Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay are amongst top startup cities globally. And if we have a look on number of unicorns in India, then it was below 20 until 2018. But in 2024, it is more than 100. So we can see from the data and number of unicorns by country. So China has highest number of unicorns, then sorry, USA has highest number of unicorns, then China, and then comes India. So India is in top 3 and consequently India boasts of 110 plus unicorns, making it the third largest hub of unicorns globally, as I mentioned now, after United States and China. In terms of alma maters that have given the most number of unicorns in the world, IITs rank fourth highest after three leading American universities. Macroeconomic environment in India. So, in the last decade, a favorable macroeconomic environment in India has catalyzed the startup ecosystem. India's GDP growth rate is projected at around 6 to 7% annually, supports entrepreneurial activities. India has significantly improved its business environment and global competitiveness as per three key international indexes. First, the World Bank's Doing Business Report 2020 ranked India 63 out of 190 economies, significantly improving from its 142nd position in 2014. Reforms in starting a business, dealing with construction permits, and resolving insolvency have contributed to this rise. These regulatory enhancements have made it clear for entrepreneurs to establish and operate businesses, fostering a more dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem. Secondly, India was ranked 63 in Global Competitiveness Report 2020, reflecting strengths in market size, financial market development, and business dynamics. India's competitive edge in technological adoption and innovation capabilities lays a strong foundation for future entrepreneurial progress. Finally, India's position in the Global Innovation Index (GII) has steadily improved, reaching at 39th rank globally in 2023. India's rise in GIL ranking is attributed to the strongest performance of ICT services exports, the quality of scientific publications and R&D investments. Although trailing innovation leaders like Switzerland, Sweden, and US, India has outperformed several other emerging economies, highlighting its potential as an innovation hub. These indices are a testimonial to India's commitment of promoting entrepreneurial activities across the length and breadth of the country. The favorable macroeconomic environment and global recognition make entrepreneurial ventures more attractive economic propositions, particularly to a student population waiting to enter the job market. This robust inclination towards starting new venture is driven by government support, access to capital, and a burgeoning market for digital services. So India's rank in doing business report 2020, we were ranked 63. India's rank in global competitiveness report 2020, we were ranked 63, and we were ranked 39 in India's 2023 rank in global innovation index. And yes, IIT Mandi was ranked 8th last time in innovation category. Proud moment. And initiatives of Indian government. In the past decade, Indian government has taken substantial policy initiatives to promote startup ecosystem in India. Government ministries have taken path-breaking measures to create on and the ground support system through support programs. System through support programs, incubation centers, other enabling mechanisms, ensuring varied assistance to startup founders. These institutes initiatives have targeted a wide range of technologies, ventures, sectors, and outcomes, resulting in an all round push to innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. These initiatives offer financial and non financial incentives for startups, including access to incubation center in the state, monthly substance allowance to founders, seed funds for validated startups in the states, easier compliance related to registration, tax exemptions, preference in government purchases, etc. Consequently, India is experiencing a merge of entrepreneurship ecosystem in cities as well as geographically dispersed hamlets, providing abundant opportunity for you to become entrepreneurs. Led by the Department of Science and Technology (DST) in 2016, one of the first initiatives for Nidhi umbrella program that established a wide range of incubation centers and startup support systems throughout the country. Around the same time, a nationwide campaign to promote startups was undertaken by Startup India Initiative that eased regulatory and policy framework to accommodate and promote startups through relaxed compliances and policy frameworks. Atal Innovation Mission was also launched in 2016 that created an additional battery of incubation centers in higher education institutes and community innovation centers for grassroots innovation and Tinkers Lab to promote innovation at a school level. So key policy initiatives 2016 presents. 2016 Nidhi program launched by NSTEBD DST, National Institute for Development and Harnessing Innovations. Nidhi established a wide network of incubation centers across the country and a range of startup funding programs. In 2016, Startup India Initiatives was also launched that provided tax and compliance exemptions, encouraged startup policy at state level, established national startup policy at state level, and established national startup seed funding. Also, Atal Innovation Mission was launched in 2016 that established a network of incubation centers, community innovation centers at school level, and tinkering labs. In 2018, Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell launched MIC, established IICs, Institute Innovation Councils across higher educational institutes that promoted entrepreneurship through frequent awareness programs and innovation competitions. Okay, and in 2019, National Innovation and Startup Policy encouraged educational institutions to promote student entrepreneurship through education, funding, and mentorship. And in 2019, Atal ranking of institutions on innovations achievements launched and encouraged competition among Indian higher education institutes to be the best in nurturing startups on campus. And in 2020, new education policy was launched and integrated entrepreneurship into the course curriculum of education institutes was a choice, and this was also a very important step, you can say. And in 2022, Mithi Startup Hub of Ministry of Electronics launched a dedicated national programs to advance electronic based startups. So far we have seen 8 government policies and initiatives to promote startups in different ways, especially in higher education institutes. So this is why we are globally ranked third and will soon get on top of this. And the launch of state startup ranking in 2016 provided more impetus on startup ecosystem. Consequently, 31 out of 36 states and union territories declared a state startup policy, and it increased the appreciation of startup ecosystem among government bureaucracy, government departments. In another game changing decision in 2018, the Ministry of Education set up an innovation cell fostering the culture of innovation across higher education institutes. Towards this end, MIC drafted a national innovation and startup policy in 2019 that provided a framework to Indian higher education systems. So, as I mentioned, there is these 8 policies from 2016 to 2022. These were the initiatives that were taken by government bodies to promote entrepreneurship. So, the number of Indian educational institutes with IIC, Institute Innovation Council, it was less than 2000 in 2020 and it is around 14,000 in 2024. And number of incubation centers is 2951 and number of pre-incubation centers is 7498. And since 2018, MIC has helped 7400 Indian institutes to set up IIC, which have become a mandate to encourage innovation and entrepreneurship through regular conduct and student level activities. As of 2024, India boasts of 2,950 incubation centers and nearly 7,500 pre-incubation centers across its higher education institutes, as I mentioned earlier. And these centers are heavily funded by government bodies and are meant for students of educational institutes to experiment early on with their startup ideas. And here at IIT Mandi, we have IIT Mandi Catalyst and iHub. That is a catalyst which provides support to startups, whether they are students of IIT Mandi or someone outside who want their idea to get support and mentorship. They can incubate that idea here and start working on that with full support. So this is what I have personally seen here. And Indian education ecosystem comprises of 1250 plus universities, 50,000 plus colleges and 13,500 plus standalone institutes offering specialized education. Universities including central universities established by Act of Parliament, state universities established by state legislature, deemed universities recognized by Department of Higher Studies, and private universities funded by private organizations. Colleges are affiliated to the universities and standalone institutes for specialized courses for students. The diversity of education ecosystem coupled with enabling policy frameworks presents a conducive environment for students to attempt innovative ventures. These institutions equip the students with advanced knowledge and skills, fostering research and innovation and preparing them for various professional fields. So, what I personally think about this is having this freedom of choosing interdisciplinary courses is very important if we talk about, especially if we talk about startup ecosystem and entrepreneurship. If I have exposure to various fields, different domains, then I'll have vast ideas to work upon, and also I can collaborate with different people from different like they are pursuing different courses. I can collaborate with them, okay, take their help, share my ideas, and exchange of ideas with this interdisciplinary courses will support startup ecosystem in the country. So the conclusion for this chapter of Guess India 2023 report is India boasts of largest youth population globally with a median age of 28 years. This demographic contributes to a dynamic and adaptable workforce. In addition, India produces over 1.5 million engineers annually, creating a robust talent pool for tech entrepreneurship. This robust education system, coupled with government's strong intent to promote startup culture, poise India to become a leader in entrepreneurship and innovation in near future. With all kind of support enabled, India's student power has the most favorable environment to experiment with entrepreneurship. India's rise as a thriving startup ecosystem hinges on students' entrepreneurship spirit and intentions. In India's youth ready for opportunity, does the youth population realize the significant opportunity that they have? The answer to these questions hold on key to economic growth of India in coming decades. This report answers some of these questions, raises pertinent concerns, and paves way for further research on student entrepreneurship in India. So this was all the about the rising tide of entrepreneurship in India. And in this, we had a basic overview about Indian startup ecosystems, macroeconomic environment in India, initiatives taken by Indian government to promote startup and entrepreneurship in India, and our rankings, incubation number of incubation centers and startup supports that we have, and Indian education system as I mentioned, and we concluding all this. So that was all for this video. I'll continue this report from next video. See you all. Good night. Jai Hind.